So this is a Swift Challenger 565. I'm going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got your hitch and handbrake and jockey wheel. This is something we'll go through while you're here on site, and also the ATC. In the front locker, you've got your gas bottle tie downs and your gas regulator at the top. None of the vans here come with the gas pipe work for the bottle itself. They are £15 to purchase if you wish to buy one. Coming down the far side of the van, you've got your wind down leg on either side at the front of the van, and then you've got your gas flue for the heating and hot water system. Next along, you've got your water pump connection. So you've got a blue trigger on the pump that you pull in and push into the side of the van. Then the pump end actually sits in the aqua roll itself. Next along, we've got the mains connection point. So you plug the 240 power into the wall and then into the socket on the van. And then you've got your battery in the compartment next to that. Also on the side of this side of the van, you've got your fridge vent. So that allows hot air out of the side of the van and cool air in to cool the back of the fridge unit. The motor mover and wheels we'll come to during the handover when you're here on site, and we'll demonstrate these in person. And then also on this side you have your grey waste pipes for any waste water that comes out of the van. This is something that again we can cut and supply with you with the supply for you with the van if you haven't got any yourself. At the back of the van you've got your toilet flush tank. So this tank here, you open this up and you put 3.5 litres of water in here and a capful of the pink fluid. Then in the bottom you have your toilet cassette, which releases by pulling the orange handle up and pulling towards you. The neck here is the empty for the cassette, and on the back of the cassette you have an orange pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away, the waste doesn't spit and splatter back at you. The tank there takes 1 litre of water before use and a capful of the blue fluid. On the back of the van, we have on either side, as you can see on this side we've got the leg down, but on both sides of the van at the back you have a wind down leg. You have the storage locker here on the back, which leaves you access to the underneath the single bed in the back of the van, so you can get to the storage facilities on there. At the front you have the barbecue gas point just here. The storage locker for the front of the van, which goes underneath the front seating, and then your barbecue gas point also on the front of the van. And then you also have your wind down leg for this side. So as you can see, we're now on the inside of the van, twin fixed beds in this particular van, and we take you through the operation of the heating, the control panels, heating and hot water, etc. on the inside. So when you first come in the van, you'll need to hit the power switch just here. As you can see, the control panel lights up, and at the moment we're running off the 12-volt battery that's on board the van. If you connect to mains power, you'll have a green light here and a green light on the caravan, and then if you connect to the car, you'll have an orange light on the car and a green light on the caravan. The reason it brings up vehicle battery on this side is so when you're travelling along, you know that if the battery's charging on board the caravan from the car, and also then you can run your fridge as a cool box. On the other side, you've got your leisure battery voltage. As you can see at the moment it's down slightly, but by the time the van's picked up, that'll be back up to where it should be. You've got your water pump run, which I'll come to in a second, and your view levels again will just highlight the levels of the battery in the van. So on the outside of the van, I showed you the water pump connection, and in the sink, this is the pump I was talking about when I lifted up the cover on the outside. Blue trigger to pull it back in, and you push into the side of the van, and this is the end that drops into the aqua roll itself. Underneath the front seat of the van, on the far side, you have a yellow valve, which is just there, if you can see that in the video. That yellow valve at the moment is in the fill position, so when it's parallel with the floor you can fill the water system. And if you want to drain it, you can put that upright, so you'd lift that valve up and point it towards the seating above it, and that will drain the water system down on board the caravan. With the aqua roll connected on the outside in the water pump, and the valve in the position it is now, parallel with the floor, you can come to the taps on board the van, open up each tap on the hot side, as you can see here, and the same in the bathroom and shower. So the sink just there, and the shower tap in the bathroom also. You'd open these up on the hot side, You can then come back to your control panel above the door and hit the water pump button just here, which will start flowing the water through the van. Now when the water is coming out of the taps continuously, as it is now, you'll be able to shut the taps down. To start with, it's going to spit and splatter before it starts running continuously, but if you turn that off at that point when the water's running continuously, you'll be able to then go to the water heating for the caravan. I'm just going to turn off the pump because we haven't got the aqua roll connected at the moment. Now if you want to warm the water on board the van with 240, so your mains power supply, the switch down in the front of the van, as you can see you've got the front cabinet down the right hand side on the floor. You've got this toggle switch just here, so you've got normal water temperature, which is around 35 to 40 on the top side, so when I press that up and you're on mains power, it will start warming the water. And on the bottom here you've got essentially a boost which takes it up to around 50 to 60 degrees of water temperature to start warming the water. So again, if you want to shower in the van, I'd personally put it onto the bottom symbol here, and that will boost as such. If you've got no water in the system, I'd advise that you leave that turned off, because you do not want to be running the tank without any water in it, because it could potentially burn out the element for the heating for the hot water system. So in the back of the van, I'll take you to the gas controls for the hot water system in a moment. But in the back of the van, just here, you have your main heating for your or electric heating control. So you've got 500, 1000 and 2000 watts. This is just the heating control. Depending on what caravan site you're on, you'll be able to run the 500, 1000 or 2000. You'll have to ask on the site which one you can set this to. When the heating is on, you'll get a green light appear behind here. And whatever number is above the green light is the temperature the caravan is going to warm up to. So this is basically your thermostat on the wall. Turn the heating back off, you turn it to the 0 position on the side here. If you want to use the heating on board the van on gas, you can also do that. Simply spin this dial round to between 10 and 9. Hold down the gas valve, and as long as the gas bottle is turned on, the pilot light down here will eventually ignite, and it will come on, and when you look through that window, it'll be around a 45-degree angle from the floor. When it has ignited, hold down the gas valve for 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the gas valve and control the temperature on the dial on top. To turn the gas supply back off, you turn the dial round to the 0 on this side, and that will stop the gas supply to the heater itself. On the opposite side, you'll notice at the front of the van you've got them little black vents, and what that's for is for the blown air heating. If you want the heat coming out the front of the heater, you'll have it on the dot in the centre here, this little flick switch. If you want to run it on continuous blown air, you'll put the switch over onto the blown air, and now at this point the air will be coming out the vents around the van. To control the fan speed on blown air, you have this dial on top. If you want it on ambient temperature, cut in and out with the thermostat, you'll be able to put it onto the A on this side, and again you can control the fan speed on the dial on top. One thing I hadn't mentioned prior was the gas heating for the water system. Now up on top of the cabinet, so you've got the electric switch down there, come up over the top of the cabinet and where your power switch is at the front, or power socket is, you've got this dial, this switch just here, so you've got 50 or 70 down the sides. This is very similar to the switch down on the floor. To ignite it at 50 degrees, you put the switch to the front and that'll self-ignite. If it ignites, you'll get a green light on this side, and if it fails to ignite, as it has done at the moment due to the fact there's no gas bottle on, a red light will appear on this side. If you want to run it at 70 degrees of water temperature, you can do the same thing, but you have to flick it to the bottom, and again, red light this side, green light this side. Up in the cupboard above the front seating area, you've got your mains control panel and your radio. You've got master system shutdown, so if you want to isolate all power to the caravan, you can press that and it'll pop out. At the top here, you've got your reverse polarities for some European countries. Charger, space heater and water heater. I would advise you leave the water heater switch on up here because you've got the control down below the seat. You've got your mains trip switches up the top here, and in the back of the cupboard, just on that side, you've got a mains trip switch guide and 12-volt fuse guide, and the 12-volt fuses are just below this cover in the cupboard also. So that's your mains control panel. I'm going to go to the fridge next. The fridge, very simple to use. You've got power on. Once it loads, at the moment it's saying we're on mains power, and it's come up with this error code here because we haven't got mains lead connected. But if it was connected, this blue light would be solid. This is the same as if it was ignited on gas. This blue light would be solid, and also if the 12 volt system from the car was running as it should. To change the power supply, hit the button on the left hand side. As you can see, it's gone to battery symbol. That is the 12 volt supply from the car, not the caravan. And again, it's brought up an error code at the moment just to say there's no power supply there. And if you want to go to gas, it self ignites on gas, and again it will flash the blue light here if it fails to ignite. If not, it'll be a solid blue light, and it fails to ignite, it'll have a 9 and a spanner symbol just here. To control the temperature on any one of the modes, you use the button on the right hand side, and the fridge will cool to the desired setting. The higher you go with that level, the colder the fridge will be. The last thing we're going to come to on this particular caravan is the toilet system. Now the toilet cassette, if you wish to flush your toilet, is on the toilet flush is on the blue button on top. The little red light you see here is a full indicator light for the waste cassette underneath the van. And down here you have a grey waste flap which will allow the waste to go into the cassette under the van. When you are emptying the cassette, you'll need to make sure the toilet itself is pointing straight across the caravan to the shower unit, as you can see. If not, it will not allow you to pull the cassette out from underneath the van. I hope this video has been of some help. If you have any further questions on the Swift Challenger 565, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll do all we can to assist you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.